Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Mack. I'm the program coordinator for Connect for Success. And we have the pleasure of having a great workshop for you today, put on, of course, by one of my administrative assistants, Katrina. She's going to give you some tips, trades, and entertain any questions that you may have about talking to your professor or instructor, whichever you call. And she is our presenter today, so let's welcome Katrina.
Thank you, everyone. Again, my name is Katrina. Actually, one of my mentees is here today, so I'm pretty happy that she is here to support me on that.
I got 3 mentees here. Thank you. Where's my mentees? Woo-hoo!
Okay, so what I'm going to talk to you guys about today is how to talk to your professor. That's one of the things that students struggle with. And believe it or not, if you don't know how to talk to your professor, then you're probably not going to succeed in that class, because majority of the time you just don't know how to approach them and ask them questions if you feel like you're struggling. Does that make sense to you guys? Have any of you had a situation where you felt like because you didn't have that connection with your instructor, but you didn't know how to approach them, they didn't do so well in class? Any of you? No? Yes or no? It's kind of a yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll probably ask for some examples on certain situations where maybe it's just an assignment or just a class in general, how you didn't know how to approach it, okay? Next slide here. Okay, so presentation overview. Of course, we're going to show you how to improve your communication with your instructor, between you and your professor, whether that's as a group or whether that's actually individually talking to your instructor. Okay, so some of the bullet points we'll go over is instructor expectations, how to properly address your instructor, email etiquette. Does anyone know what etiquette means?
Kind of the process of how you should, like, using jokes.
Kind of like your behavior towards something. Okay, so the importance of communicating with your teacher, your top do's and don'ts, what you should do and what you shouldn't do in a classroom setting. Instructor's pet peeves. Believe it or not, does anyone know what pet peeves are, for example?
Things that irritate you.
Okay, yes. So, pet peeves for instructors, they have them, we have them. So we're kind of going to discuss that a little later on. And things to remember, we'll talk about, and success tips, of course, to help you be successful in classrooms. Sorry about me walking back and forth here. Okay, so instructor expectations. Each teacher will have their own specific expectation for deadlines and expectations. So of course, you're going to have attendance policies, ways they want you to write your papers, citing your resources you use, the use of technology devices during class time. That can be quite irritating if they don't have your undivided attention. Assignment submission, how you submit it, whether that's by printing out your paper and turning it into them, or turning it online. And your assignment requirements, so whatever you're required to do for that class assignments. You want to find out early on what your professor expects for you to do for those certain reasons, okay? That make sense? Am I losing anyone yet? Okay, so instructor expectations continue. We want you to apply your knowledge and take chances. So take those risks. Try to learn the best you can, and if you feel like you're unsure about something, ask questions. Or try to answer questions that the instructor asks. If it's wrong, that's okay. It's a learning experience for everyone, correct? Teachers expect you to meet the basic requirements. Of course, knowing prior knowledge. So sometimes classes have what's called prerequisites, which require you to take a class prior to that to know common knowledge of that subject. So sometimes they expect you to remember all that before they start the actual class, correct? So you kind of either have to review a little bit, or you kind of just look like a lost puppy and expect your teacher to kind of overview it real quick, right? So, if you're able to repeat back everything your instructor says, yes, you may have been listening, but it doesn't actually show that you actually know and understand and comprehend what your instructor talks about. Does that make sense? Have you had a time where you had like a vocabulary test and you know all the words, you know how to spell it, you know the definition, but you don't understand the definition? Have you had a time when it happens like that? So they want you to also comprehend it. So I'm going to show you ways that you can actually do things like that. Okay, so on your first day of each class, you get what's called a course syllabus, correct? Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so what's in that course syllabus? Does anyone know what's in your course syllabus? Anyone?
I think first is the class behavior. I think they have this like you can use the cell phone, like something like that, and the points you earn for this semester and the grade level in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that some is for the homework, like no late homework. I can remember anything else.
So it talks about classroom expectations, classroom etiquette, so don't use your phone. They want your undivided attention. Majority of the instructors here also don't want you eating in class and on your gum or anything like that. That annoys them just as much as it annoys your fellow classmates, believe it or not. So these are things that we're going to kind of discuss, but one of the things I want to reiterate, this syllabus that you get, you want to keep for your entire semester, even continuing on through going to university. The reason why I say this is, some of the things that are included in syllabuses actually can kind of help you write either papers for later on assignments for classes, and of course it also includes information that you need to know about that classroom specifically. So that's attendance policies, whether your instructor allows you to turn in assignments late or not, doing extra credits. What is the grading rubric they have? What is the percentage that you can have to get an A or a B or a C, the grading scale. So anything along those lines, that's stuff that you need to know about your class. And of course, it talks about what class you're taking, the overview of it. It talks about the course number you need to know, the section number, anything you need to know about that class in general, that's stuff you need to follow by, okay? So think of it as your best friend while you're in that class. Make sure you don't throw it away or crumble it in your backpack and shove it in there and find it eventually when you need it in a certain case, all right? All right. So how do you address your teacher? How do you guys normally address your professor? How do you talk to them? Do you say, hey, you over there? Or do you say, Professor Smith, I need help with this, or you call them by their first name. What do you guys do when you actually talk to your professor?
I think it depends on the professor. Some like to be called by their first name, some like to have like nicknames like Dr. D, or you have to let them decide how they want to be addressed and just follow what they pick.
Yep, that's pretty much what you want to do. So if they want you to call them professor and their last name, that's fine. Or if they have a title as their doctor, you can call them by that. Or you can call them by their first name basis. So whatever they agree with you upon in that first day of the class, that's what you want to do. You want to follow that. Because if you kind of go away from that and they say, don't call me by my first name, and you decide to do that, you're disrespecting them. They don't like that. They want you to respect them just as much as they respect you. Okay? Even when you're in email format, make sure you also address them the way they wanted you to address them in the first place. Okay, so email etiquette. So again, this is how you want to address your emails. You want to identify yourself, of course, put your name in there. You want to identify what class you're taking with them, what the section number is, because let's say that you're in a CIS 105, which is a computer class. They may be teaching 3 or 4 different CIS 105 classes, and your name might be very common, so they don't really know which class particularly you're actually in. So they need you to provide that information when you're emailing them. So identify yourself, use a salutation, which means addressing your professor in a way they want to be addressed. You want to end the subject line, you want to of course include what class you're in, what subject it is, and what section number it is. You want to be professional and cordial. So you want to properly address them. You want to not use words like yo, crow, what you want, why. You want to actually be more professional about it. Don't be hostile or aggressive, so don't be in a term where you go, why did you give me that grade? That's just so mean to you. I just don't like you, things like that. You don't want to be like that. So I'll kind of give you examples on how to figure that out, what to properly do. You want to avoid making spelling or grammatical errors. So of course there's this lovely tool where you can spell check even your emails, so make sure you definitely use that. Definitely use that. And the subject line, make sure you include the topic, your name, course number, again, like I already said. Use your student email address. And the reason why we want you guys to use that is because if you use that tool, it will not put it into spam when they actually receive it, and they'll know that it's you by identifying by your IMEI number, okay? Allow your instructor time to respond. So if you email them at 2:30 in the morning, not all professors are up at that time, they're not checking their emails at that time. So give them enough time to answer your email, don't panic. Make sure you do things ahead of time with your assignments so you actually have time for them to respond and actually turn it in at time, okay? Okay, so the worksheet that I provided for you guys are gonna be able to answer this. Can you spot which emails follow the email etiquette tips? Number 3 does, yes. And why?
Because here have the name of the instructor and it's I think that's just more appropriate than another answer.
And it also has a course number in it. It tells which student it is. It addresses them professionally manner. There's another one too as well that does that. What other one is actually goes by proper email etiquette? Number 4, and why is that?
It adjusts the professor, it has the course number and the section. It also, she asked if she could come in, or he asked if he could come and check office hours too, and then whatever happened, and then he signed up.
You give a nice little sincere like regards. So why is number 1 not a good way to email your professor?
It's casual.
They don't know who it is that's talking to them. They don't even, they're not even addressing the professor in a proper manner. They're just saying, hey, pro. Again, they're using like texting kind of words. You don't want to use texting lingo when you're actually trying to address your professor or even talk to them via email. Why is number 2? It's better than number 1, correct? But why is it also not a way to properly address your professor and or continuing on from that? Yeah, he was hostile. He was very hostile. He was very angry why he didn't get a really good grade on his paper, so he took out his frustrations towards his professor, which there's a better approach that he can do. So does anyone know how he can talk to his professor in a better format? Anyone?
I think he can write the ask the person what the reason that he got this low on this assignment. So then that way he can understand why he got this so great, and the professor I think will explain to him.
Yeah, so if you ask them to like maybe just have a sit down time with them where you can actually discuss what you got wrong and why they gave you that grade, but don't be hostile about it. And if they give you feedback on what you did wrong, it can help you improve the next time you do an assignment, maybe relating to that or something different from that, but allows you to improve the way you write. Anything along those lines. Does that make sense? Good? Okay, so I'm going to show a little clip that's a little cheesy, so bear with me, but I thought it was pretty cute. It's talking about what to ask your teachers. On the left?
Check on the computer.
Okay.
I think it's on a headphone mode.
Is it headphone on? I don't think so. Told us, it said the volume was working.
Who said the volume was
I
working?
wanted the,
Did they actually play it to make sure?
no, they did not, but they said it was working, that it was functioning. So
Sure, you have to fix that last time and make sure that they
Of course.
actually was working.
Anyone else?
Something was off in the back the last time, and they had to turn something on, and then we got it to work.
Yeah, flip the switch somewhere over there.
Mm. Sorry, guys.
Try it.
May take just a few seconds.
Okay.
Still on.
Talking to your instructor can help you clarify concepts from lectures or texts, improve your study habits and assignment results based on detailed feedback and advice, and it allows you to enrich your educational experience through an expert's suggestions about how to explore your interests. It's a chance to introduce yourself and develop a rapport, so that if you ever need to discuss things like research opportunities or ask for reference letters, you'll feel more comfortable and you'll have a better chance of succeeding. Remember, your instructors are professionals and they're very busy. You can often speak with instructors directly after class, but it's best to make an appointment or visit them during office hours. They have office hours specifically because they look forward to helping other academics, and they welcome interesting questions and discussions about research. Check your syllabus for your instructor's office hours and preferred means of communication. Here are some examples of how not to talk to your instructor.
Have you graded our assignments yet?
This tends to sound like you're just trying to find out how much effort you should put in for the rest of the semester.
What's that? Oh, I'm not texting, I'm taking notes. You know, I might miss a lot of classes, so your notes are on mine, right?
Do I need to know this for the test?
Do you have any good tips for how we should study for the exam?
How come I didn't get an A?
Can we read through the notes I handed in last week? I really need to improve my next assignment and I really need your feedback.
Can I get an extension? I'm just so busy.
I recently had a really great breakthrough, but I just started from scratch. If I can get an extension from you, I will have a really amazing assignment. Is that possible?
Did I miss anything important? Can you tell me what I missed?
I missed several classes last week. I'm so sorry, but I borrowed my classmate's notes and I have some questions that I will need you to help me clarify.
Don't talk on your cell phone, or shop online, or check your Facebook account while you're in class. Don't pack up before class ends. And when you speak to your instructor or send them an email, address them by the proper title and use a professional and respectful tone. And don't listen to music when you should be listening to the lecture.
I heard a little bit of chuckles. See how cheesy it was? Alright. So talking to your professors, everyone laughs at this picture when you see it. It's a little silly, right? It looks like Albert Einstein just attacked it. Getting to know your university instructors. So if you get them to know on a little bit more of a personal basis compared to what you actually just learn about them in class, it kind of relieves tension between you two and you're kind of able to approach them easier. Approaching them after class, visiting them during office hours, which they have assigned office hours throughout the week, each semester. And you can go and see them. They sit there for an hour or so and wait for students to come by, whether that's scheduled or they just pop in. So sometimes if you just don't go visit them during office hours, they like to create more assignments for you. So this is a time for you to go see them, ask those questions that you felt like weren't answered during class time, or you're just unsure about, whatever the case may be, just help them. And also make sure you bring the material that you have questions about. Just don't go, I don't really remember what it was exactly, but it's something along these lines. You want to be prepared, right? Send an email as well. You can also contact them after class. And why would you want to get to know your professor? Why would you want to talk to them? Does anyone know why you want to talk to them? Get to know them?
Well, I know for me, when I was in undergrad, I was in my senior year, and a lot of times your senior year, if you move on to a four-year college, or even when you're approaching the end, it's always great to know your professors because you never know who they know. And especially if you're looking for a job or a recommendation for grad school or a four-year school, it's amazing to get to know them, because I talked to one of my senior advisor professors and I got to know her personally. I went to her office hours, we talked, we chatted. She actually got me an interview with an intrinsic coach on wellness, which is something I'm really interested in. Now, had I not talked to her, I would have never been able to meet that person and talk to the other. You see what I'm saying? So it's a great opportunity for you not only to get to know your professor, but get to know who you are with that professor. They have connections outside of college that they can connect you to, especially if you have a particular interest and you know that professor's linked to that. They might say, oh yeah, by the way, I was talking to my colleague about you and they're interested in meeting you. Now you just have an opportunity, another door just opened for you. So that's one of the great reasons why talking to professors is key for your success.
That is one, but many other options that you can do, and the reasons why you want to talk to your professors and being connected to them. Shows a clicker. Okay, so talking to your professors, teachers know a lot of people in your area of discipline that you're going for, so again, that allows you to get networking skills, allowing you to find things off campus that you can utilize, whether that's getting a job or tutoring or whatever the case may be. They're well connected, so of course they know other people at major universities maybe you plan on transferring to. They can get you someone to connect to that university, okay? And of course finding jobs after college or finding internships or finding places that you can get networking at. Instructors know lots of students and you're one among many that they have. So again, if you keep yourself to where you actually talk to them, ask questions during class time, visit them during office hours, get to know them more than you do in class time, they know that you're going to succeed in that class. And if you keep in contact with them, they can give you feedback on assignments, they can make sure that your research projects are doing well in the class, they can just pretty much give you feedback and help you kind of outside the classroom setting. So it's a wonderful experience to do. So teachers know the literature in your field. Of course they're going to know it. That's what they're teaching you, right? So if they're in that class, they're going to direct you towards books that can help you do maybe research papers for other classes, or just kind of do research about what you want to do in that field of study that you're going towards for, and help you have valuable resources, okay? Instructors know various career paths in their field, of course. So you can say, I'm getting a degree of business, but what are you doing with that degree? There's multiple things you can do with business degrees, correct? You can be an instructor, you can own your own business, you can travel and do international, there's entrepreneurship, many different things you can do with that. And that's kind of things that can go with you more in detail. And of course, let's say that you're having administrative issues and you feel like you don't know how to approach it and what you can do for that. Sometimes your professor can help you out in those certain situations. It's not always, but they can help you out in certain situations, okay? Also, they can write letter recommendations. So you can ask an instructor that you barely even know and say, can you write me a letter recommendation? Sometimes they're generous and they will, but you want your recommendation to stand out. You want to know, have them know you at a little bit more of a personal level, so they can talk more things than just saying, wonderful students, showed up on time, asked questions when needed, things like that. That's kind of general. So they want something more specific towards you, and if you do that and talk to them outside of the classroom and even in class, they'll be more willing to write your letter recommendation than compared to just going to class and barely getting to know them more. Okay, so why ask questions? Why would you ask a question in class? Yes. So believe it or not, you may ask a question that all your fellow classmates hesitate to ask, but when you ask, they're going to feel so relieved that you asked it. And of course, it helps everyone learn the knowledge just as much as you are. Your fellow classmates are kind of like your team members. You guys are trying to work on this together. So if you work as a team and you ask questions, not only just you, but everyone else, it kind of helps that class flow where you're learning something. It doesn't kind of hold you guys up and you're not able to learn all the material you need. That makes sense to you guys? Any questions so far? Top do's and don'ts. Of course, you want to check in with your professor. So if you're having an issue with something and you wait till the last minute to ask them, they may not be able to help you with the allotted time that you have left. Or again, this is, if you do it ahead of time, you're gonna get more feedback on an assignment first day. Talking with your instructor, especially if you miss class or assignments. So if you're missing class and you tell them ahead of time, they may allow you to make up the assignment or the test that you may have missed. Or if you did not tell them, what's gonna happen is they're gonna probably give you a 0 for the assignments you missed. They're not gonna allow you to make up anything that you did miss. And again, you may be missing notes that could have been important for you to have because it may have been one of those test days, day before test day, where they kind of review materials that you need to know for the test, right? So it's something you want to get connected with them and talk to them, whether that's by texting, email, phone call, whatever you guys kind of agree upon. So don't immediately approach your instructor with a hostile environment. Of course, you want to be in a nice manner. You want to talk to them nicely. And don't say, did I miss anything important? Because if you say something like that, all your instructor believes when they see you, they just want to pass this class. They don't even care about the material. They don't even care about everyone else in this classroom. They're just here just to get an A, hopefully. So you want to be past that barrier. Okay, so before I start this video, it's going to talk about teachers' pet peeves. I want you guys to figure out your pet peeves. So does anyone have a pet peeve, whether that's in a classroom setting or even outside a classroom setting, that they just can't stand when someone does it? Anyone? I know everyone has a pet peeve, something. Yeah, that's very frustrating, right? That's frustrating. Yes. So me personally, I don't like it when people crack their knuckles individually, so that kind of frustrates me. So if they do that in a classroom setting, I'm just distracted, and I just want to be like, hey, stop that. I'm trying to learn. So there's lots of different things that happens that kind of distract you from that classroom setting too as well. So this video will actually go over teacher pet peeves. So again, bear with me, it's a little cheesy, but I thought it was kind of cute.
A lot of teachers have pet peeves. I've got one. That's eating. I hate eating in class. I won't have it, I don't allow it. A little bit of research. Really?
Do you students actually think that we believe all of your tardy excuses? Today we're going to talk about the Treaty of Versailles and the ending of World War I and how it... Really, Chad? What's your excuse this time?
I got a flat tire.
How much sleep do you kids honestly get? Wait, I know. 55 minutes in my class.
Okay, students, your essay is due tomorrow, so you better be prepared.
Where's Braden?
Go over all the documents, and then I'm going to give you your essay prompt, and you're going to do an A-class essay today.
Chad again?
You can consider me late for today, but how about early for tomorrow?
I think it's funny that you guys think we don't see you cheating. We see everything. Okay, you guys, clear off your desks and let's get ready to take the test. When you're done with your test, brag.
I swear, sometimes you kids can't control yourselves.
My gosh.
Hey, I swear you kids act like farm animals.
Have a pop quiz on your reading.
Why?
Chad again?
Okay, this time it's for real.
This time,
Now I know how this sounds, but This morning, I was abducted by aliens.
You know what, Chad? I'm tired of this. I'm tired of your excuses. I'm tired of your target. Get out of my classroom.
Not again.
Silly, right? Okay. So being aware of your instructor's pet peeves. Of course, when you whine about something like, do we really have to do that? They're not gonna like that. It kind of shows that sometimes you're lazy and don't want to put your effort into that class. They want you to go beyond the classroom expectations, right? If you're complaining about something or a conflict or something like, I don't feel like this is necessary for us to do, Professor Smith. Can we do this instead? They don't want you to do that. They want you to kind of follow what they ask from you and kind of get a positive outplay from that. Text messaging your friends in class, that can always wait after class. So don't be that person where you're going like that, and then that video earlier where that person was just like, oh, I'm just taking notes. I'm not text messaging, or I'm not just researching something on my phone or having fun. They don't want you to do that. That kind of shows that you're not giving that time that they put out there for you, whether that's an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours. They want your undivided attention. They want you to make sure you understand that material they're going over. Of course, chatting, so with your fellow classmates, and you just keep talking, and you're not paying attention, even if you're whispering, they can hear you. I promise you, they hear you. You don't want to do that, because again, you're not giving that proper attention to your instructor. Turning in papers without staples. So if they have a whole bunch of papers that don't have staples in them, they're going to get bundled up, mixed up, and they're not going to know which one's yours and someone else's. So it's good to have it stapled ahead of time. And if you don't have a stapler, then go ask your instructor before the classes start. Can I staple my paper? Do you have a stapler? They'll be more than happy to give you a staple, right? Chronic lateness. So just like that Chad guy in the video, they don't like it when you're late all the time or you want to leave early, you just kind of peep out. They want you to be there. They want you to learn just as much as anyone else. Is there something that you want to say?
Yeah, just to add off that too, because I know this has happened to me in the past. I staple my papers all the time, but sometimes you might accidentally lose staple and the paper might fall out. Like, put a header on your paper at the bottom with your last name and the page number. So that way, if they do accidentally lose it, like, they'll be able to know, oh, this is so-and-so's paper, this is the second page, and they can just put it back together. Because sometimes it does get loosely stapled and fall out.
Okay. So, again, with the stapling. So just make sure that you guys arrive on time, that you stay the entire time, and that you just feel like that you don't want to leave. You want to actually get in that knowledge they want to give to you. Okay. So failing to turn off cell phones. Not all the instructors want to hear something random like, I'm blue and they don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear ringtones that you got that you're so fascinated about. You're distracting the class from them learning material that's provided for them that day. And you are messing the instructor's classroom setting that they have. It's just annoying overall, it really is. When students ask, let's be on an exam, again, they just feel like you're not there for what they're trying to give to you, that you just kind of want to get an A, so you're not really worried about everything else that's going on. That you only care about your marks rather than actually learning the course material. So blowing off appointments. So if you set up an appointment with your instructor and you're not able to make it, let them know. Don't make them worry like, hey, where are they at? Did they forget? Or just blow them off because you're like, I don't want to go. I changed my mind. I'm okay. You want to go to those. So if you can't make it, again, let them know ahead of time so they can reschedule with you. Okay? Okay. So professors have scheduled office hours every week. So this is something you can utilize to help you be successful while you're going to school in any class. If you don't know where their office is, of course you can always ask them during class time, but in your syllabus it has their office hours and where their office is. So you have no excuse saying, I didn't know where their office was. You do. And again, teachers are the best resource for your class. So if you're misunderstanding something in the class, or you want to know more something about that they weren't able to go over because it kind of goes over the class time frame, you can use them for that. That's why I say it. They are the best resource for you. Okay, so success tips. Many things out there. There's a lot more you can go over. But attending your classes every time that there's a class time, show an interest. Make sure you go that extra mile, so take risks. If you feel like it maybe didn't kind of go towards that assignment, and maybe you felt like it needed to be included, include that. They like it when you put an extra effort. Have a positive attitude. Don't be a negative Nancy about every little thing they give you. You guys know what negative Nancy means, right? Everyone know what negative Nancy is? No? You kind of. Being a negative Nancy means that when something's given to you, whether that's a work, class, or any time you're at home, someone tells you something, and you always have a negative output towards it. Like let's say, for example, your mom says, go do the dishes. Why do I have to do this? We can always do them later. That's being a negative Nancy, right? Coming to class prepared, evaluate yourself. So make sure that you are prepared for anything. That let's just say there's an emergency situation. Be prepared for that. Evaluate yourself. Comment about things. So ask questions anytime you're unsure about something. Raise your hand. Just don't yell it out. You don't want to interrupt the class time, but you want to make sure you raise your hand so they know that you have a question about it. Become technically proficient. Make sure that you have everything turned off, technology devices. So don't have your cell phone on. Don't have your laptop on if you don't need it, not unless they allow you to use it. Be alert and attentive. So just make sure that you're paying attention, you understand everything that they're providing to you during that class time. Does anyone have any questions for me or want to add on the success tips I do have? No? I feel like I'm ending short here. A lot faster.
You're talking pretty fast.
Am I? Oh wow, I didn't notice. Okay. Again, I mean, this is one of the things that I feel like always happens. You want to make sure that you are talking to your professor because it allows you to be successful. It allows you to ask questions. It allows you to address them properly, have that respect for them, and you get avenues like finding maybe an internship, finding a job, or just pretty much allowing you to have a letter of recommendation for you. Anything really that helps in that subject, or even in the job force for you. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing to do. Anything so far? I feel so bad because this is my interview.
I think they have worksheets or something.
They do. So that's one thing I wanted to go over before I did. I just want to make sure you guys had more questions about that. So on your worksheets, the first couple of questions we have is fill in the blank. So, okay. So professors have scheduled what every week? Office hours, yes. Checking what for times and locations? Syllabus, yes. Professors are the best what? Yep. Come to what? Prepare. Class. Evaluate what? Okay. Set up what with your professors? Discuss your progress. Meetings. Yep. When you miss what? Okay. Let your what know. Professor, teacher, instructor, educator, really whatever word you use for that. Okay, so the first thing that we also did answer is your proper email etiquette. So the first, the third, and the fourth one are the best way to address your instructor while you're emailing them. What is given to you at the beginning of the semester that you should treat as your friend? Okay. Okay. So please circle the items below what professors do not want you to do. So again, this is what you don't want to do. Does anyone have the answers? This is on the back side. Is it over? I'm sorry, what was that?
The first and fourth bullet.
Okay. So the first one is immediately approach your instructor if you're angry or upset about your grade and say, did I miss something important? So again, if you're saying, did I miss something important, you're more worried about your marks and really not what you're learning from that class. And how do you properly address your professor? So yeah, so again, using like Professor Smith or hey Ariana or whatever they kind of really want you to talk to them about. Okay, so true or false, professors do not know the literature in their field. False, okay. Professors have lots of students in year one, name among many. True. Okay. Professors know the various career paths in their field. Okay. Professors know very few people in their chosen discipline. Okay. Professors do not write letters of recommendation. That is false, yes. Professors can help straighten out administrative issues. True. Okay. Besides being in a classroom setting, how can you ask questions outside of the classroom?
You mean by like office hours?
Yes, by office hours and by what else?
Email.
Email, yep. Okay, so list at least 3 of the 10 pet peeves that we're talking in your professional workshop. What was that? Cheating was one, yes. Eating. Sleeping. You guys are remembering the video, that's funny. Oh, sorry, what's that? Cell phone, yeah. Taking out your technology devices and just playing around with them. What else?
Leave class early.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Leave class early.
Yeah, leaving class early, or coming in late, or will this be on the exam when you're asking your instructors for that? Blowing off their appointments they set up with you. What else here? Turning in papers without staples. Many, many things that you don't want to do, of course, that are pet peeves. That's it. So, does anyone have any questions for me about the subject in particular, or you felt like didn't really? So what I'm going to hand to you guys is our evaluation form for me. If you guys could fill this out, let me know how you did. This was my first time, so I'm sorry if I ran through it short. I thought it was longer, because when I did it to practice at home, it was very, very long, actually.
Okay, so real quick, I didn't get a chance to introduce myself, but my name is Emily Liebertruth. I'm the other administrative assistant in the Connect for Success program. Lizette just wanted me to cover some brief information with you, important information that you all would like to know. Does anyone know about the scholarship program with Connect for Success? Are you familiar with some of the criteria, what it is to apply? What's one of the main, what do you think is one of the main criteria you need to apply?
You need a mentor?
Yes, you do need a mentor. So for this is, when we say scholarship, it's specific to this program, which means that you have to be in the actual program in order to qualify as a criteria. You also need to have a success coach. With that, you have to have met the success coach at least 6 times within the semester. 2 times face-to-face, the other 4 times can be by email or by phone, but it has to be 6 times. You also have to maintain a certain GPA. Now, I know there's been some questions if you're a first-time semester student this semester for the GPA, which I'm sure Lizette will be able to go over with you in more detail about that, because I'm not 100% positive how that works. But I know for the scholarship, you do have to maintain a certain GPA, which is 2.5 or higher.
So let me just jump in there then. Because a lot of you, this is your first semester here. The reason I extended the deadline from November 3rd to December 18th will give you plenty enough time, because finals week is when? Uh-oh. December. Oh, we got different days. December 14th through December 17th. Last day of finals is December 18th. So by then, all the instructors are responsible to have those grades listed online, and that should show up in your student website. So you should know what that is. Additionally, at this point, you shouldn't always rely on that. If you know how to calculate or figure out your GPA, you can do that as well. You guys, have you ever done that before, calculated your GPA? Do you know how to do that? Wow, so good. Maybe please see if there's a marker, and I can show you really quick how to do that. So that's what we're going to do. I wanted to make sure that there is, thank you so much, that you had enough time to be able to do that and your scores will be in. As well as you need to, oops, sorry.
Also,
Throne.
no, that's okay. And also the obvious is you have to be an enrolled student. So you have to be enrolled in classes. Now, the scholarship money goes, I look at it as it goes by like a $250 scale. It goes up depending on your credit hours. So you have to be enrolled within 6 to 12 credit hours, roughly, to be able to qualify for the scholarship. And it goes up by money price, and I'll say that. So 3 to 5 credit hours, you can get up to $250. For 9 to 11 credit hours, you can get up to $750. 6 to 8, $500. And then for 12 and more credit hours, you can get up to $1,000. Okay? You also, so you have to complete those hours within in order to qualify. Now, to actually apply, there are some application criteria as well. You have to write a 250-word personal statement about yourself. And I'm sure that also includes your experiences in the program and how you have evolved in the program. Okay? You also need a recommendation from your success coach, which is also important. They have to have a personal recommendation for you in order to pass, if you will, the scholarship. You also need to have an academic plan for the following semester. So an academic plan in terms of classes, what it is that you're trying to do, goals that you may have that you want to set for yourself, that also has to be included as well. I know that I had one student in particular ask me what necessarily is the academic plan. If you went over with an academic advisor, I'm sure that that would count. Again, I'm going to have Lizette cover that as well. If you've met with an academic advisor about your major, that may or so qualify, I'll have her discuss that. And then the last thing is you need to have an unofficial transcript of your grades, so that way they have proof to see what classes you've taken and the grades that you've had. Is there any questions in regard to the scholarship? The deadline is December 18th for the scholarship. That's the final deadline. You can contact Lizette. We do have flyers in the back. So if you need if you want the specific information, it is accessible to you. You can contact Lizette directly. Her name, her email, and her phone number is provided. Me and Katrina have the same phone number line, which is the 4617026. So if you contact either me or her, whoever's available in during our office hours, will answer any questions that you have. If there's anything additional that is outside of what we know, of course, we always refer it to Lizette, and she'll be able to answer any additional questions you may have. So, any questions about the scholarship? Be sure to take it out. I recommend all of you to apply. It doesn't hurt to apply. The worst that could happen is that you don't get it, and then you always try for the next semester. Never give up. Always keep trying. That's what equals success.
So the online application, is that up yet?
Yes.
Okay. But we also have to have everything before we can actually do the online application, correct?
Yes, I'm gonna email that out.
Okay.
I just told you Queen because you were in my office. In case you guys don't know, this is our newly crowned 2015-16 Miss MCC Native American.
Thank you. Last thing I want to go over is the bike program.
Can I jump in? Because we're talking about the GPA and we'll
Go ahead.
okay, thank you so much. Okay, so let's just say you have 3 classes, math, bio, and English, and each class is worth 3 credits each. Our GPA scale is ABC. No. 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 We don't do this one. I can't even say that letter grade. So, no. Okay. So, for an A, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, essentially, what's going to happen is you're going to get your grade. Oh, look what you got in math. You're so awesome. Just amazing in math because you're just awesome. So, B in bio and a C in English. And the only reason I know you're going to get an A or a B in English is just for calculation purposes only. Okay, so 3 credits. How much is the value of A? 4. And the value of B is?
3.
And the value of C is?
2.
3 times 4 is? 3 times 3?
9.
3 times 2?
6.
How much is this together? Ooh, you didn't know you'd come here to do math. I love it.
It is 9.
27? 27. Okay, great. So how many credits are here? 9? Is that right? Did I do my math right? Did you double check me? Okay, awesome. Okay, So I want to do some simple math. What about this? How many times? Well, 9, 3. Okay, so that's 27, and that's 0. Add a 0. What kind of grade is that?
B.
A 3.0 GPA. That makes sense? Ah, you know how to do it now? No excuses?
Write it down.
Okay. Thank you.
I always write it down. Okay, great. Last thing I want to talk about is the bike program. So everybody here, you're all mentees in the C4S program. Are you familiar with the bike program at all?
And let me just add in, just for the bike program, you don't necessarily have to be a part of the Connect for Success program. If you need a bike, you need a bike, and you can get a bike, okay?
I was going to add that in too.
Sorry.
She beat me to the punch.
Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I'm in timeout.
So the bike program
I'll be over
basically is a proposal by the Mesa Police Department and the City of Mesa. What they do is they give 30 bikes per calendar year to Mesa Community College, and it's extended to students first in the program. If nobody accesses the bikes, then it's open to the whole college program. And basically, it's if you need transportation. If you don't have a car, if you're having trouble with the bus, getting on time to class, this is a way for you to be able to get to your classes. Okay, so it is accessible to you. If you have any questions, again, like the scholarship, don't hesitate to call. We'll give you the information you need, the forms you need to fill out. The bikes also do need maintenance, minor maintenance, so that it's something you will have to fix, but it's free. It's totally accessible to you at no charge. Okay. I need a picture of them.
Well, you better have one there. Okay. Now, so I kind of gave a hint to something. If you came today, you would get what? Possibly. Yeah. An actual gift card to the bookstore. So, must be present to win. Our ladies, they love. So, Miss Presentator, please, you get to call out the number. Sure.
It's 521-248.
12128.
248.
Here.
Ooh! There you go. So when you get ready to read books, or if you need something from the bookstore, there you go. You can use it. It's for you. So if you haven't taken a moment, if you would please fill out your evaluation for Katrina for today. Again, be nice. This was her first time. Although I think she did a good job. You think she did a good job? Yeah. Good job. Short though. You are fine. She's fine. And that's the thing too. This is a life skill because everyone is always going to have to do some type of presentation. So it takes a lot of courage to stand up and talk in front of some people. So I think she did a good job. Nicely done.